So your organs are for you and you alone. You get to decide what to do with them. But a woman doesn't get that choice about her womb, about her ovaries.
Well, the baby is not an organ of hers. A baby is an individual human being.
You get to make choices about your internal organs, but a living, breathing woman does not.
Well,
okay, I understand.
No, I don't think you do understand, because...
Triggered leftist college student storms out of Q&A after she tries and fails to trap Michael Knowles in her logic of fallacious arguments in order to justify abortion. We're going to see a great video on that, guys, but first, please make sure you like our video, comment, and subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. Why subscribe? So we can keep bringing you these great videos, guys. So please do it. We really appreciate it. All right, let's get into the video.
Hi, Michael. Do you believe that organ donation should be mandatory?
I do not.
You do not. Okay, so if you believe that even a dead person has the right to bodily autonomy, even if that dead person's organs could save up to 8 lives, and yet you also believe that women should be legally mandated to sacrifice their bodily autonomy in order to save the life of a fetus, by your own logic, a corpse has more right to bodily autonomy than a living, breathing woman.
Well, you imposed upon me a liberal view that I do not hold, which is that my views of abortion come from some sense of bodily autonomy. I'm not a huge autonomy guy to begin with. I don't think that I own my body. I think my body is sort of a gift, and I have obligations to my creator. The reason that I don't support mandatory organ donation is not because of some liberal conception of autonomy or something. It's because that's not what your organs are for. Your organs are for you. Your lungs are to bring oxygen to your blood. Your heart is to pump blood around your body. Your liver is to take care of what I will probably do later on at the bar after this speech, and so on and so forth. My organs are not for you. Your organs are not for me. So you can give an organ donation, and that can be a lovely thing to do, but you aren't obligated for it, because things are known largely by what they are for.
Okay. It sounded like you were just going to be anti-organ donation for a second. I was like, that's weird.
No. But I am against, going in and stealing people's organs. I think that would be quite wrong.
Stealing from a person who isn't alive, which gives them
I think desecrating bodies is pretty bad, or like digging up graves is bad too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you don't believe that withholding resources like life-saving organs, which you would die without if you have organ failure, if you don't believe that withholding resources like that means that you're killing a person, would you be pro cutting the umbilical cord rather than removing a fetus so that the fetus would no longer be able to grow without the nutrients it needs?
I think it would be wrong for a mother to kill her child. So I don't view my organs, say, as resources, as you've put it in a kind of like materialist liberal way. I kind of think of them as my organs, and I think of my body as like my body, and I think of me as a person, not just a big sack of flesh that can be chopped up for the pleasure of some liberal technocrat. Call me old-fashioned, I guess. But then you turn to this example and you say, well, okay, what about cutting the umbilical cord eventually you do cut the umbilical cord when the baby comes out, but what about cutting the umbilical cord or otherwise killing the baby? I think that would be quite wrong to do, because your baby is not for your killing. Your baby is not justifying some kind of murder. That was the topic of our discussion tonight. And furthermore, a woman's womb, which is another organ that you haven't brought up, has a purpose too. And the purpose of the woman's womb is to grow a baby. And the baby is not just, a clump of cells or a parasite or any other dehumanizing way that the liberals talk about it. The baby is your baby. And when mothers kill their babies, that's contrary to reason and contrary to nature.
If I'm following correctly, this girl's argument is essentially that if you're against abortion and you think killing babies is wrong, but you also think it's not right to go and harvest organs out of a dead body without the permission of that either formerly living person or their, relatives or whoever has the rights over that body, you're a hypocrite. How does that make any sense? Just think about it. The only thing that Knowles or any other person who considers himself pro-life is arguing is that abortion is wrong because you're ending an innocent human life. If someone is in desperate desire of an organ donation, one could argue even needs an organ donation, them not receiving a donation from another person's dead body, that doesn't mean that person's killing them. Now, it's perfectly reasonable to make the argument that perhaps they should be able to receive that organ, that it's the right thing to do. You can make that argument. That's fine. But they're not killing them. In the case of abortion, there's a direct aggression. There's a life being lost. There's a person being killed. That's the distinction, and it's very key.
So back to what I was saying, you love doing this thing where you go off about some nonsense that isn't what the original question was about.
Logic, yes. Yeah, I know. I do occasionally,
logic
apply that.
Entirely unrelated to what I was saying in the first place. But
what were you saying? Perhaps I misunderstood. I thought I understood.
You misunderstood. So withhold.
Unrelated to what she's saying, or does it simply just go against her fallacious argument? Let us know what you think below.
Resources.
Right. Yeah, I suppose I just don't.
Someone will die.
Yeah,
when you have organ failure, not having an organ donor kills you. Surprise. So withholding resources from them, that isn't killing, that isn't wrong. But withholding resources from a growing fetus, somehow that's different. And the way
as I tried to
make that leap, so I'm getting confused there.
You are getting confused. As I tried to explain, you are beginning with a premise that all of our organs are just undifferentiated resources to which any of us might be entitled. And that's a novel view. It's a view held by, I guess, some rather extreme liberals or materialists, but it's not a view held by me. I don't think that it's all just undifferentiated flesh. I think that things like organs have both form and matter. So there's the matter, there's the flesh, there's the stuff, but then there's the form, which tells you about what that thing is. And so my liver might look a lot like your liver, but they're different livers. One's mine, for instance, and one is yours. So you don't have a right to mine, and I don't have a right to yours, because your liver is for you, and my liver is for me. And we all know this, and we all act that way. That's why you're not coming up here and attacking me and ripping my kidneys out and selling it on a market in Wuhan or something like that. But we pretend that we don't believe these things because it helps to advance an argument which is totally indefensible and unnatural, namely that we ought to kill a baby or something like that.
So your organs are for you and you alone. You get to decide what to do with them. But a woman doesn't get that choice about her womb, about her ovaries.
Well, the baby is not an organ of hers. A baby is an individual human being.
About your internal organs, but a living, breathing woman does not.
Well,
okay, I understand.
No, I don't think you do understand, because I don't think you understand very well at all, unfortunately, because you're suggesting that the...
Wow. She got really triggered. She just stormed right off stage. She wasn't having it. Oh, well, you know, what can you do? You win some, you lose some. Can't have a good discussion with everybody. It is what it is. Although I will say there were probably a few people maybe who were on the fence sitting there watching that and who thought, maybe that pro-abortion position in favor of babies isn't so logical after all. Because you ever notice how they always have to make these crazy fallacious arguments? Well, you know, the organ donation, it reminds me of the violin example. If you're not familiar with that, you can look into it. But basically, it says that there's a violinist and that they wake up with an organ attached to somebody else and it's helping keep them alive. And the whole dilemma is, well, can they remove the organ? Because if they remove the organ, it's going to kill the person. And then somehow in some roundabout way, that justifies why abortion should be right. It's completely crazy. General rule of thumb, if you can't simply explain your argument as to why it's right or wrong, it's probably not that good of an argument. Anyways, guys, we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you all again soon. Please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked, what you want to see next. We'll see you all again soon. Thanks, and God bless.